Hi Risers, so I am currently on vacation. This is going to be a very brief video. It's not like how I normally shoot it, but I just wanted to provide some tips that I personally have used to protect my peace. Y'all, it is so important to protect your peace, and I will just be honest, during COVID I have had a lot of anxiety. I've had to increase going to my therapist and talking to her. Just a few weeks ago I had an emergency meeting and I was just like, look, I don't know what's going on, but life is really out of control. I'm very overwhelmed and I need help. And I will tell you, within this last 3 weeks of my life of intentional living, of intentional mindset, of intentional purpose, my life has shifted tremendously. And so I have friends and I have family members who have reached out to me recently and just also talked about them being overwhelmed and them having anxiety. And so I want to say, rest assured, the world is going through a lot right now. There's inner reflections happening. There's transitions happening. We're dealing with loss. You know, death has literally knocked at our doors. And so I just want to tell you, all will be well. You are okay. So this topic that we're going to be talking about today is going to be on the importance of protecting your peace. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe. The first thing that I think is very important as we talk about protecting our peace is that we have to embrace the emotions that we feel. Personally, I've dealt a lot with anxiety and a lot with restlessness and just constantly being anxious. It was heightened during COVID. And one thing that I've learned is the importance of not trying to shift that thought to the side. So if I feel angry, I embrace it. I say, okay, right now I'm angry. If I feel anxious, I embrace it. I say, okay, right now I feel anxious. And so what that does is it gives your emotions an identity. Your emotions need to be heard. They need to be acknowledged. And what I was trying to do is I was trying to always feel one type of way when there was another emotion right in front of me. And so one thing that I encourage you to do is, whether it's anxiety, whether it's loneliness, whether it's sadness, embrace it. Say, sadness, I feel you right now. Sadness, I know that you're creeping upon me. But sadness, I'm asking you to leave, right? So once you acknowledge its presence, its identity, because it is a real thing, right? So we can't just try to overanalyze or overwork ourselves or run to joy or run to happiness or run to peace. We have to pause and acknowledge and say, I feel you. And then you ask it to leave. So this is something that I've been doing in my wellness journey. I acknowledge the emotion and then immediately I ask for it to leave. And it just brings me comfort and peace, because we need all of our emotions to operate as humans. We can't just ride the wave of one emotion. You know, fear brings in consciousness, right? Is this something I should do? Is this something I shouldn't do? Joy brings peace. Sadness allows us to think about memories and things like that. And so we have to acknowledge that as it comes with our emotions, it is a holistic journey. And so acknowledge it and then ask it to leave. So if you're very anxious, if you are just really anxious, you're very overwhelmed, don't try to immediately go to joy. Say, anxiety, I acknowledge you right now and I'm asking you to leave. Anxiety, I acknowledge you right now and I'm asking you to allow me to be happy right now. Anxiety, I acknowledge you right now. Anger, sadness, I acknowledge you right now, but you are not welcomed right now. And so that right there is allowing you to declare your leadership once more, okay? So remember, you have to first acknowledge it, okay? You have to acknowledge it, guys, and I'm on vacation right now, so there's golf carts everywhere. But you have to first acknowledge it. The second thing is you have to know your triggers. So for me, I know when I don't have a plan and I have to do a sudden movement or a sudden change, I get very overwhelmed. I get very anxious. I get flustered. I get overwhelmed. I get angry. I feel all the emotions on the spectrum, okay? But I realized that once I had a schedule, once I planned for my day, once I allowed room for error, my anxiety level went down. So what are your triggers? Maybe it's having a lot of phone time. Maybe it's texting people that you don't feel like texting. Maybe it is getting up earlier in the morning so that you can have a more productive day. What are your triggers? Maybe it's people. Maybe it's your own thoughts. So maybe you need to incorporate reading in your day. Maybe you need to do yoga and meditation. Know your triggers, because if you do not acknowledge, once again, identifying your triggers, you will not be able to have a successful game plan because you don't know where to start. One thing that I do is I keep a mood log. So I keep a mood log and I try to track the emotions that I don't want as frequently. For me, it was anxiety. So I would track when I got anxious, what was I doing, how was I feeling, what caused it, how long did it last. And then that right there would give you some consistency and a starting point, or even allow you to say, wow, I haven't been as anxious this week. I must be doing something right. What did I do? Did I get up early this morning? Did I work out this week? What changed in my week to allow me to feel some new emotions, okay? All right, next, I encourage you all to discover your peace. Now, I know that this phrase is going around a lot in the world, protecting my peace, but what does that look like for you? What are the things that bring you peace? For me, I am currently out in nature, y'all. I'm out in nature. I'm on a vacation, and this is bringing me so much peace. I love nature. I love yoga. I love working out. I love listening to my music. What are the things that bring you peace? And that is exactly what you have to go after. And so if you're not in a place of a routine, you have to schedule it out, and you have to put it on your schedule. You have to have a time where you have a date with yourself and nature, a date with you and tea, a date with you and cooking, a date with you and praying, whatever that is, that thing is that give you peace. You have to be able to identify it, because during COVID along, anxiousness is going to happen, anxiety, anger, all of that is going to happen. But when you have a peace plan, it makes things so much better. Okay, so get your peace plan. All right, guys, and so the next thing that I absolutely encourage you is to write down your schedule. A lot of people get very flustered because they don't know where they're trying to go next. When I had a schedule, I said, you know what, I don't have time to be in my mood today because I have X, Y, and Z to accomplish. And I noticed when I did not have a schedule and I did not have a plan, that I allowed all emotions at all times of the day, you know, to just run my day and really take over. So what I want to encourage you is to have a schedule. When will you wake up? What are you wanting to accomplish throughout the day? So if you write things down, you have a 40% higher chance of achieving it, because a lot of times things stay here. They stay in our mind and they never go into reality. But when you write things down, once again, your chances of accomplishing this thing, and this is research, y'all. This isn't me talking about it. This is research that says you have a 40% higher chance of accomplishing that goal. Also, when you write things down, it releases neurons and activate particular parts of your brain that gives you excitement and brings you energy. So when you write things down, yes, it's for accountability, but there's also scientific research that points back to the importance of writing this thing down, okay? And lastly, I want to encourage you all to connect with good energy. When you are around people that brings you anxiety, or people that really don't give you comfort, it affects your emotions, it affects your thoughts, it affects the way that you move. And so I want to encourage you all to hang with people with good energy. Recently, I've been hanging out with my friend. She's really into art. I love art. It brings me peace. I've been hanging out with other creatives and other entrepreneurs because we have like minds, we operate the same, and it brings me peace. So do not try to protect others. Protect yourself. protect your mind, protect your peace, know what you want, know what you don't want. One thing that I've learned is no is a complete sentence, okay? So if you don't have time to go out, if you don't have time to talk on the phone all the time, if you don't have time to text, if you don't want to do it, don't apologize. You have to do what brings you peace and have people in your circle that can understand boundaries and your expectations and your need for wellness and rest, okay? So those are just some things that I want to encourage you all as I am on vacation and as I am protecting my own peace and just having an amazing time. It took me a while to get here, and I have friends and I have family members who are really going through a lot in this season, and I just want to encourage you all that, you know, the mind is a devil's playground, and so protect your mind with affirmation and positive words and encouragement and scripture and just really intentional positivity, because it will determine the rest of your day. So if you are overwhelmed, if you are very anxious, just really take it a day at a time. Give yourself grace. Do not chase perfection, chase purpose. Do not chase perfection, chase peace, and continue to be yourself unapologetically. I hope and pray that this was great. Just a little few words of encouragement as I try to just tell from personal experience how I have protected my peace.